Alright, we're back. We're outside. There's no rain, but there's wind. That was Kevin the Snake, as you all know. Took me a little while to find him. I didn't want to find him. Of course, it took me forever to find him. But he's back. He's back in real life as well. If you don't know, as I mentioned last time, Kevin the Snake is our symbol for injuries. The snake that bites all of our players. Alright, stopped there to check the app to see the injuries. Hard to keep up with. Basically, Brittany's whole team is injured and out. Not really, but not good for her team. Nick Chubb went down with injury last night. Gruesome. Feel bad for that dude. She also had Zay Jones get hurt for a little bit at least. Travis Etienne was hurt from Princess Meow Meow's team, or banged up. My team, David Montgomery, got hurt. Monra was out with cramps, because that's a thing. And Jamal Williams and Anthony Richardson with a concussion. So I'm definitely feeling the snake bite this week. So yeah, it's that time of year, football season. Saquon Barkley, as I scroll some more, that's a big name, banged up in his game. Odell Beckham, used to be a big name. Not trying to hate on Odell too much, but yeah, so there's injuries everywhere. Some teams aren't as affected as much. I'm scrolling a little bit more to see. The Phantoms still have Brandon Cooks, but that's not from this week. Of course, Brittany's team with no extra points for added injuries, which is unfortunate. But we're in week 2 now, or past week 2. Week 2 is in the books. We're moving on to week 3, which is fun. That's how this thing goes. It waits forever to get here, and then all of a sudden we're doing reports on week 2 going into week 3 of the season. Brought to you by Powerade. Whatever that means. That's a throwback. Since we're in our 10th year, as long as I don't get shot at out here, I might be alright. That's another one. But it's crazy being in our 10th season. Into our 10th season, into our 3rd week now, and recapping the 2nd week. Fun thing. We got a few things. We'll go over some of them. Alright, let's see. Let's welcome a new guest to the program. This is Nomad, the Wild Hog. We found him wandering the streets of Tulsa a few months ago, getting into all kinds of trouble. He's here to highlight our wild matchup of the week, which was actually our game of the week as well. The Rust City Phantoms losing to the Stormtrooper Academy with very high scores for both, which is unfortunate for the loser, always great for the winner. But it was 183-34 to 174.1. The Phantoms fall by 9-ish points. I'm not doing the math there. To the Stormtrooper Academy, who is off to a 2-0 start this year, which is great for him. But yeah, whenever you're scoring that high, you're generally expecting a win. Pretty wild matchup. I watched it all weekend back and forth. Not every second, but going into last night, they were projected within 1 point, which is the Mike Jones standard. Trademarked that. Not really, made that up. So I was pretty much assuming that it was going to be some wild and crazy ending where they finished, you know, within 1.5 of each other or something dumb, because why not, right? Well, it didn't end up that bad, and that's good because I wanted to go to bed, so I didn't watch the whole thing. But checking it in the morning time, seeing it really didn't change too much. So I'm not shocked there, but it was a wild matchup back and forth all weekend. We had 30s and 28s, 25s, 27, 27, 19. Crazy scores, which is good. definitely a fun thing to see early. You never know what's going to happen, but that definitely was the Nomad, the Wild Hogs Wild Game of the Week. There you go. New random ass character for this year. Alright, well, I'll be remiss not to congratulate our new member Pablo on his first victory in the Football Warriors Fantasy Football League, taking out the injury-plagued Victoria's Secret team. So congratulations, Pablo. I'm sure that feels great. Hopefully it does. On the flip side of that, Brittany is the Bears Bear recipient this week, which never feels good, especially when you're injured. Hopefully that'll turn around soon for you. I'm dodging way too many bugs out here for as late in the year as it is, but it's all good. I wanted to do something different. This actually works out, you know, when it's not raining super crazy. Taking another quick look. Give me a second here. We have wins in the Eastern Football Conference, so that winlessness is over, as Tasha and Pablo, as I mentioned, got their first wins of the season for the Eastern Football Conference and for themselves. But the Eastern Conference has 3 0-2 teams, and the Western Conference has 3 2-0 teams. Pretty balanced straight across right now, which can happen, especially when the West sweeps week 1 like it did. But that's nice to see. We've got some matchups this week that'll break up some of this winless and some of the undefeated, which is normal. We've done this before, so that'll be fun. The 2 participants in Super Bowl 9 are both 0-2. I do not think anybody expected that. They were both handed their second loss this past week. I don't know who's racing down the road there. Very rude, and not brought to you by Powerade. But yeah, it'll be fun. This week's game of the week is probably a no-brainer. Commissioner Romocop at 2-0 squares off against Dusk Till Dawn, the Vampires 2-0 team. Stop me if you've ever heard this before. Pretty much a classic matchup. Lots of Super Bowls combined in this one, and quite honestly, it's the most high profile and easily choosable game of the week for this week, and I will be excited for it, but not super ready for it. It's gonna be something crazy like normal. Anticipating watching way too much football this weekend, but that's fun, and that's how it goes, and I would have it any other way, not at all. So yeah, it's fun. We're into week 3. It's only getting better. Yeah, you just gotta play your best game. Commissioner Romocop leads the league in scoring so far at 306.6. That's kind of my birthday, so that's fun. Weirdo things like that. The lowest points belong to the Scranton Stranglers, and let me tell you that none of that matters whenever you are playing, because I barely escaped last week against the Stranglers, and most of the time there's not going to be too many easy games for people in this league, which is great, which I enjoy. Didn't super enjoy it individually, particularly for myself, but that's what happens in this league. You'll be lucky, you know, if you can rattle off, you know, large margins of victory. That thing glitched out. That's gonna be weird, but oh well, we're gonna leave it as is. Yeah, you're lucky to rattle off huge, large margins of victory if you're fortunate, but sometimes you're gonna be in nail biters. And just because you score at the Bears Bear doesn't mean you'll stay there. I mean, it could be a trend, but most of the time we trade off who is down receiving that award, appropriate award, since the Bears still look like the Bears these days. Hopefully we don't see any more of the snake. I know it's going to be happening, I guess. The way, I mean, and it's a physical game, of course, but you know, nobody plays preseason. The stars down with the starters. I'm not blaming it all on preseason, or lack of, but it's not quite the same training wise, I believe, leading up into the actual season. I think that puts more guys at risk because the first few games are, you know, trying to get into speed, into rhythm, repetition, game reps, all that. I know it sounded like I'm blaming it. They're still going to get hurt even if they played in the preseason, but I do think that factors in early. And I'm sure we're going to see more injuries, unfortunately, which does nothing great for our game. We've got a lot of great players. Every player is great. Every situation is not, unfortunately. Really happy with the level of the league. I've said that the last few years, definitely. We're at a great spot still. Really, it comes down to luck. You know, who can survive injuries, who gets lucky on a play, who doesn't leave a crap ton of points on the bench. It's going to happen to everybody. You can't get around that, and if you say you can, you're lying, because it's not true. Everybody has left a cluster of points that they would rather have had in the starting lineup, but that's the fun or the not fun of this game. 90% of us will remember back in the day when there were matchups that were affectionately called the bye weeks. Even though we don't have bye weeks, that would be easy people, or doormats, or floor mats, or whatever you want to say, that you could walk on over and move on to the next one, which is not good overall for a league, but you know, it's good for individual feelings, I guess, and happiness and whatever. But collectively, you know, now there's not a week. I mean, if you feel confident going into a week, sure, that's great to have, you know, confidence in yourself and your team, but I mean, anything can happen at any week, at any time, and none of these matches I ever feel like that I have anything in the bag until I get to Monday night, and sometimes not even until the end of the games on Monday night. And that's great. It's great for the overall quality and play of the league. Listen to the commissioner talk there, but I mean, it really is. It's great. Yeah, let me see if this thing's going to glitch out. This wind is funny. I try to stop it right before the wind, but I guess it's not happening. See, I guess wrong. But anyways, like I said, it's fun. It's good. You never know what's going to happen week to week. I have no clue. And the way these games evolve and unfold in the NFL, you never know. I know that if you're playing Mike, you're probably going to be in a close drama-filled ending or something, at least as of right now. It's pretty much like, I don't know, what's a good compared to Yahtzee? You put the dice in the cup and the cup gets rolled every week. That's pretty much it. Not to Forrest Gump it up, but yeah, you really don't know what you're going to get on a given week. You may be great one week and go into the next week not feeling so great, or you'll be consistent if you're lucky. But that's the fun of the game. What can I say? We're going to watch it unfold. I'm sure it's going to at least provide us one super hot, wild matchup, so we can see this guy again, maybe, if we want to. Probably will. I won't lose the snake, and even though I want to lose the snake, maybe burn him. I'll keep these things handy so they're easier to find this time, as I didn't get to them in the first video. But I'm probably going to call it right there. It's probably long enough. Hope everybody's doing alright, well, awesome. It's good to talk to you again, and we'll talk to you next time. Peace. And we're out. Let's go, Dust Till Dawn.